Добрый вечер, дорогие гости. Рады приветствовать вас на нашем
Good evening,
мероприятии.
dear guests. We are glad to meet you here at this wonderful event. The Forum of Young Researchers is ongoing for the first time during this Northern Forum. And finally, we have realized it. We are glad that young people from all over the world came here. And after yesterday's roundtable, we have understood that the main resource of the Arctic is not only gas and oil, but also young people of the young Arctic, those people that will provide services and very important qualifications for future initiatives. I greet you today, dear participants of this roundtable. We're glad that today our guests were finally able to come here. This roundtable is meant for accepting the agreement and foundation of the consortium. We are glad to see here the participants from China and India, and we're hoping that the students from online presentation and in person will meet in person what kind of initiatives are very important in the Arctic, and would like for this roundtable to be productive, so we would be able to find out what kind of directions are the most relevant and perspective in order to find certain points of communication and interaction in order to provide even further development. Allow me to present my colleague, Ekaterina TIMOFEEVA, senior lecturer. She has a very serious project. She's a lecturer of natural sciences. My name is Varvara KHOLMOGOROVA. I'm a senior lecturer at Department of International Studies. Today, here we have students of our university. Good day, dear guests. Good day, dear guests. I represent Department of History. I'd like to greet you on our Yakutian soil. It is indeed a grand achievement for us to hold this event, especially during the anniversary of our republic. There is a very big attention surrounding the Arctic. A new historical reality is developing, and we're hoping for its success. I'd like to give the floor to Ms. Zaika. Yulia is a big expert in terms of development of the youth. Thank you. I'd like to say that it is amazing that such event is going on, because from historical point of view, thoughts are a little bit scattered. In 2011 and 2012, I was the president of APEX. It is quite a big initiative that connects multiple nations and nationalities. Lots of events happened in 2007 and 2008. I'd like to say that in 10 years, there's going to be a new North Polar year. But I guess that the youth is going to plan for this event and hold events much bigger than this one. So the event like this roundtable is very important. It holds great significance. Hope that consolidation and partnership of young researchers is going to hold a great importance in historical point of view. Thank you. Our youth platform is happening on the platform of the Northern Forum. And this forum is main theme is energetics. It is impossible to develop the Arctics without young professionals, young specialists, those who are interested and invested, who will provide everything to the overall development of the Arctic. And right now, I'd like to begin the protection of their projects. Nikita Terehov is going to give his speech right now. We'll give him the floor. Good evening, dear colleagues and friends. I'm from Murmansk. I'm the representative of the biggest scientific organization in the region. In the beginning, I'd like to say a few words about Murmansk city, which participated in the research. If we look further into the history, we may see a few examples of multiple facilities gathering around them certain settlements, and thus being the heart of such settlements. And the similar way of developing itself was initially the source, the roots of Murmansk city. It felt a main surge of infrastructure development in the 40s, 50s of 20th century. Our theme is intoxication of atmosphere of Murmansk city. Those include the negative effects of different enterprises and facilities, as well as the transport. The whole relevancy of this research is that all negative effects are coming from the different plants, facilities, and fuel mining facilities that may negatively affect the overall atmosphere air of our city. The overall pollution might depend on the quality of the elements. It pollutes the air in the open way, while others other loose ores and concentrates do this in the other way. We collected the information from different enterprises, how they themselves pollute the atmosphere. on the example of Murmansk Enterprise, they have a special monitoring system that collects information of different areas of pollution with a stone dust. We also collect different pinpoint locations of the most concentrated stone dust. And based on such information, we create a map. We needed to do this in order to create measurements of the overall pollution, so that in future we would make a certain carcass of Murmansk city. Murmansk is separated by 3 regions: Leninsky region, Oktyabrski region, and Pervomaisky region. In order to create measurements and creating the project of green zone of assimilation, there was a requirement of an analysis of different areas of pollution. While we were aiming towards completing the objective, we required a certain equipment, and that is a drone with a free allowance to fly near 10 meters around the facilities. Geoscan 401 and Ecolab gas analyzer were used in such measurements. In order to analyze the pollution incoming from the transport, in some areas of the road, we made multiple measurements. We separated the results in different classes and put the measurements through the formula. We've also made some samples of the snow cover in order to allow me to collect my thoughts. Snow is quite an informative factor of the overall pollution of the atmosphere, because it might consist a lot in higher measurements out of dust, and thus it may give a full picture on how the area is polluted. After certain measurements, we have realized that on some of the tables, the snow cover pollution assessment is quite high. You might see the lines in them. Those are the limits of the concentration, and in many cases, it is exceeding this line. After receiving this data, we needed to put them through. With the help of a modeling program for integral calculations and the data obtained, actual pollution distribution maps were generated. A partial check of the obtained maps by instrumental control was carried out. The overall center is quite polluted, and some of the areas surrounding it are also polluted. Finally, we have come to the pinnacle of our research, the green carcass. Since tree coverage is quite important in terms of sanitarial and health matter. It controls the overall temperature surrounding the city atmosphere. It highly affects the overall comfortability of the city. We made certain measurements using the formula, and thus we have shown the example that decreasing the pressure on the overall pollution might be possible with the use of green coverages. Thank you, Nikita. It is quite an interesting project, but are there any recommendations beyond green coverages? Of course, it is to monitor active monitoring of the pollution. We need to talk, we need to have active conversations with the enterprises in order to have ongoing projects of different methods of cleaning, of cleansing, purification of such gases and water, so that stone dust won't be spread around the city. Also, the filters must be used in boiler houses. That's pretty much it. Have you analyzed the experience of the foreign countries? Maybe you had a conversation with the Chinese and Indian partners. Honestly, I did not, but maybe after showing this project, they might give me advice about this area. And right now, we're going to head to Chinese presenters. Jun Li is going to be in Russian. Good day, dear colleagues. My name is Li Bun, but I want to show my. I want to say sorry for my poor Russian. I sent the presentation to my curator. I sent it in WhatsApp.
Тогда пока презентацию к следующему перейдем. Пока.
Я бы хотела немножко осветить, пока появилось время, про...
While we have time, I'd like to talk about our university, Northeastern Federal University, on which basis this consortium is being held. So I represent the group of researchers which has a certain research in terms of the materials produced in the Arctic territory. I personally am leading the research of creating elastomer and polymer materials. We cannot talk about this without the usage of technological constructions and equipment, so that the overall technology line would work as intended. As we know, multiple pollutions have appeared due to little misconceptions in the construction of the equipment, and it all leads to very sad consequences. So we're trying to prevent all of these negative effects. We are we're committed to continue the projects in such department. And surprisingly, we have found out, well, why this forum was created. It was created for people to find out different people who are also interested in the realization of their projects. And and during this forum, we were able to find the organization which helps us out to integrate different projects. We live in quite distant lands. Some resources are quite different compared from different regions. Sadly, Rabba behaves itself quite differently in the Arctic compared to other regions. For example, in fall, it is it was quite common to have quite drastic changes in temperature. For example, during night, it's going to be minus 15 degrees Celsius, while during the day, it's going to be plus 10. So during these researches, we are trying to find a solution for such issues. There is an ongoing online stream. Perhaps online participants and members of the consortium could see us and finding the solutions and preparing ourselves for the partnership. I should also draw your attention that it is the first occurrence when this roundtable of young researchers is happening. So the projects are incoming from quite various directions. We have pollution, social economics. So don't be surprised that the projects might be quite different from each other, but it pretty much proves that the Arctic requires complicated and innovative way of thinking. And it's very happy. I'm very happy to see that people from the Arctic are willing to show their initiative in terms of development. Are we able to show the presentation? In my opinion, you talk in Russian quite nicely. Thank you. Tunli, can you please talk to us about the area of your research, and weren't you scared to come here? Can you please turn the volume down? As you may know, the Arctic is quite important for the whole world. And we, as representatives of China, are heading towards realization of different projects in the Arctic. Thus, we have come here. Last year, we also participated in the Northern Forum in Salihard city. We quite liked this theme, and this year we've decided to continue it. So we're happy that to be here. Thank you. Okay, once again, good day, dear colleagues. My name is Litun. I'm an aspirant. I study in Kostroma State University. Today's theme is the Arctic and China. is quite poorly shown in here. My bad. Firstly, I'd like to show you our station. In the middle of the 90s, scientific researchers have flourished. In 1994, have officially joined the Arctic International Scientific Committee. In 1994, China has created the first Huanhe scientific station and started first scientific work. China has become the overseer of the Arctic Union. It has become the overseer of the Northern Union. Huanhe means Yellow River. This river, as you may say, is our symbol of our culture. And thus we call it that way. And after that, the founding of the Arctic means a lot not only to China, but for the whole world. Firstly, the Arctic is incredibly important in terms of the overall state of the atmosphere. This issue is very prominent in China, and the global change of the climate follows the conception of the united fate of the humankind. Plus, China as a developing country takes its attention towards such issue because climate change leads to changes in the life of the nation, both in rural and industrial areas. And thus, scientific researches in the Arctic mean quite a lot to the stable development of China. Thirdly, the development of the route in the Arctic allows for quite fast transportation of Chinese goods to all parts of the world, and follows the concept of the great trade path. In the global history, this path meant quite a lot. It held quite a big significance. Relationships of China in terms of conjoint development of the Arctic in the future. It follows multiple concepts and legislations. Plus, China has a very great interest in the overall infrastructure of the Arctics. Thirdly, the respect which comes with the cooperation and conjoint and joint prosperation. While following the rights of the Arctic states, it is required that the rights of China and other countries must be respected. Equal rights and equal profits must be on the first spot And on this picture, you can see the first Russian Chinese Arctic scientific group. It is a main symbol of our friendship. And after that, my colleague Hua Minchen is going to talk about the further points. Good day, my name is Hua Minchen. Today I study in Today I'm trying to receive a magistrate degree in economics. Today I'll try to discuss this matter in Russian. I'm the main bone of the Association of Chinese Students in Russia. Plus, I'm very happy and honored for the speech that my friend Li Tong has made. There are four principles of our politics towards the Arctic. It is to understand the Arctic, it includes multiple areas of life. It includes cooperation in terms of scientific researches and data transfer, data exchange, plus the second principle is the protection of the Arctic. It is the protection of cultural traditions of the ethnic nations. It is international cooperation in terms of climate change and protection of the ecology of the Arctic. Thirdly, we are planning to participate in the Arctics. It means we are bound to respect the international rights and the rights of the indigenous people. We are going to create joint enterprises and cooperate in terms of development of mineral and oil resources. And we are planning to develop clean energy and make an effort to push the Arctic forward in Chinese tourism. And the fourth principle is the management of Arctics. It includes the respect towards all regions of the Arctic. Future development of the Arctic requires joint power of China and other countries. Harsh climate and different difficulties must require from all of the participants joint cooperation and immense development in both technological and infrastructural areas. The cooperation of China is with the other participants of the Arctic Committee is going to develop quite lots in the most significant parts of the initiative: agricultural, infrastructural, economics. But it must include that all of the participants of this initiative must respect each other and the rights of each other. China will participate in the diplomacy and its inner activities. China is very invested in the overall human fate in the Arctic. China is very eager to show their efforts to furthermore increase the overall level of stable development in the Arctic. Yakutsk is an incredible place. We have met and acquainted ourselves with the basis of culture of locals. We were able to meet with a lot of significant participants of this forum. We have received important information to furthermore increase our efficiency in multiple areas. We wish you happiness and health in the ongoing initiative. Thank you. Thank you very much. In half a year, it is indeed quite an achievement to learn Russian.
Our two countries, Russia and China, could communicate together to achieve sustainable development in Arctic. For your opinion, which projects could we create together, like young generation?
Я думаю, что мы можем, как мы сказали,
I think that, as we have said, that we need to develop this way in terms of width. We're going to analyze the Arctic, research the climate and the environment to increase our efforts more and more. And Nikita had just presented us the speech about different measures of decreasing the negative effects of carbon. Last time, our counselor said that the birds from the Arctic are flying through China, and we are playing quite an important role. The environment in there is not as clean. We were told that we needed to clean, and we do this. I have this question as a person who researches. I've seen a picture from the expedition. I have a question. How is it possible for me to participate in such an expedition? How to start the partnership with your organization? Perhaps it is possible to join to your initiative. I think right now you have quite good ships in the Arctic Sea. Incredibly good ships. We also have a certain science in our homeland. We might combine it with your own, and young researchers are getting even more active. We can gather them together and send them straight to the Arctic on the ships, plan different events, and have a fruitful relationship. Thank you for your comment. And of course, the main target of the consortium is unification of the efforts of young researchers in order to create joint projects. And dear Kopitsin, the representative of State University, has made an agreement to join our consortium.
So I would like to give the floor to Irina Surovaya. She's a lecturer of History and Political University in Petrozavodsk. Good afternoon, dear participants of the forum. I'm really glad to participate in this event. It's a very good place for coordination and for cooperation for young researchers and for experienced specialists, for projects. It's a very good opportunity for future projects and initiatives. I'd like to show a presentation. So I can start without presentation. I had some illustrations there, but let's start. I'm also a postgraduate student, so I'm doing my research work simultaneously with my work, and I'd like to focus on experience of regional universities in the current geopolitical situation. And how Karelian Republic University reacts to such a situation. This idea is not very modern. It was this institute was created as a virtual online institute. We are working on technical issues. And the Arctic is a basic direction of our research. It's about our university. So you can see here the key points, and you can see here an Arctic Karelian mineral resource potential. There are metallic and non-metallic deposits. For metallic, there are titanium, vanadium, and others, and for non-metallic, there are diamond, graphite, and others. And also dimensions stone, crushed stone, clay, peat, sand, gravel materials are abundant. And there are lots of deposits of water resources. What about Karelia's bioresources? There are 63 fish farming companies: rainbow trout, herring, cod, flounder, seaweed, laminaria, which are farmed in the White Sea. Fishery and aquatic biological resources are an important sector for investment and a priority on the Karelia's agenda. Also, I want to note of medical plants. There are 150 species of them. There is a rate which is connected with international cooperation of our university. We have 129 international partners with 31 countries of Europe, Asia, North America, and the CIS countries. We have lots of participants of academic mobility, students, and there you can see our joint activities with our key partners. Here you can see the schools which were held in cooperation with our partners. And Arctic Center is the organizational and coordinational cooperation in order to make some research, exploring works, planning projects, and for consulting activities. We are taking part in different events as a participants, and also we provide seminars, forum, and other scientific events on Arctic problems. You can scan code on the screen and get acquainted with our center. There are some direction of our center. There are international cooperation and academic mobility in the Northern Europe. It's an investment cooperation. It's some ecological issues. And there are research fields of our center. There are Arctic biodiversity, Arctic youth migration, entrepreneurship, security, architecture in the Arctic, and social work and welfare. So our experience concluded several projects, and they were stopped and they changed their form, and they are continuing in other form. For example, it's a project which is connected with Arctic migration. This is project Arctic Demography Index. Previously, they were working with Kennedy University, and nowadays partners are the Northern Forum and Oceanological University of China. It's non-financial structure. And this project, I hope, will be very perspective. And the next project is a Russian-Indian project. It will be funded. It's a business school where we'll attract participants from Russia as well as from India. I will present this project in 2023.
Архитектуры безопасности в Арктике, проект, который мы реализовывали, вернее, начали реализовывать с США в январе 2022 года. Он был приостановлен.
The next project is security architecture in the Arctic. It's an ongoing project. Of course, very popular topic.
Такого проекта еще не было. Вот с коллегами разрабатывали учебный план. Ну и в качестве перспектив на будущее это
And our plans for future is to create some guidance. And the next project
есть магистратура по изучению истории и культуры языков стран Северной Европы, но этот проект, он претендует на как раз-таки в междисциплинарность, на
It's an interdisciplinary project. It's a new master's degree program named Innovation Technology and Social Administration. It's the social welfare of indigenous peoples in the Northern Territories. It will include the concept of sustainable development. And
северным арктическим условиям. И еще одна программа, она связана с инновациями в социальной сфере на севере.
It's another program.
Является также моя коллега по социологии.
Another program's leader is my colleague.
Мы также взаимодействуем с университетами Китая. Это прежде всего провинция Фудзянь. С 2017 года наши университеты связывают побратимские связи.
We have signed an agreement on establishment of sister relations between the Republic of Karelia and Fujian province. We've signed a memorandum of understanding, and also our partners are Fujian Agriculture and Forestry University. And we've made 5 master degree scholarships allocated for our university students in 2018. There were visits by an exchange of undergraduate and graduate students for study and research.
студентов, которые обучались по программе двойного диплома с Анхуйским государственным педагогическим университетом. Наиболее популярные направления Китая в Карелии — это, конечно, прикладная.
In 2022, this year, Lin Lin Tao teaches the Chinese language in Karelia on a bachelor degree program, linguistics, Russian as a foreign language, the Chinese language. And the most popular programs among students from China in Karelia are applied philology, teaching education, also tourism, general medicine, musical education, and fine arts and design. As far as I know, in Yakutsk there are lots of Chinese teachers and students. And for us, it's not typical, and we are very glad having such teachers. Also, we are providing an international programming training camp. There were over 150 students from over 20 countries, including China. They were participating in the program. I think that such an interest is connected with the fact that Arctic is so-called such called safety belt. And our specialists are researching 5 most important components. First of all, it's the safety. It's development of some medical resources. It's ecological and biodiversity of Arctic. And also, the very new direction is using Russian language as a foreign for teaching. It's a brand new direction which we are working on now. So thank you for your attention. I hope it was useful for you. Thank you very much. You have a really good experience. You can share with our participants of roundtable. And participants of our roundtable are also will join. And I hope that all the resources will be joined as NEFU. It's a government of Republic of Sakha-Yakutia, and it's also Northern Forum. And I'm very glad that we all gathered here. I'm very grateful that you shared with your experience. For online participants, I will add that the school will have a very very full program. It's very And now we would like to give the floor to the next speaker. My name is Ekaterina. I'm economics and business student of Yegor University. I'm working on my course project now, which will analyze creative entrepreneurship in the field of the North. Today, the entrepreneurship is an instrument for rapidly development the economy.
На данной территории исключительно промышленных предприятий хоть и сказалось на развитии малого и среднего бизнеса, но не остановило его полностью. Несмотря на отраслевой характер экономической деятельности ХМАО-Югры, в регионе уделяется особое внимание развитию субъектов малого и среднего предпринимательства. Для этого были разработаны особые...
And in our region, we have paid specific attention to the development of small entrepreneurship, small business. And there were some support measures for creative and social businesses. And that's why this work is very topical. And the main idea of the project is to analyze the scale of development of creative and social business in Khanty-Mansiysk Autonomous Okrug, Yegora, and to estimate the effectiveness of these measurements. The aim of this project is to analyze and estimating the development of businesses in Yegora. Tasks of the project is to make a research of some theoretic works on the topic and also to analyze statistic data on small business in region. Also, we will provide own analysis for data. We will interview our entrepreneurs. What about scientific novelty? It's concluded estimating a digital effectiveness of small and medium businesses in creative and social sphere in our okrug before crisis and after this in the period of pandemic, because it was affected on business, and also we will estimate the effectiveness of their work, and also we will see how the governmental support measurements. Also, what about practical significance of the work? It's boarding of knowledge. What about expecting results? We will hope that we will
Также оценю качество и количество оказанной государственной поддержки по данным сферам ведения бизнеса. Ну и результаты данного исследования
we
могут
will reach our goal and
форуме в целях улучшения продуктовых ценностей и для развития МСП в сфере креативного и социального бизнеса. И всё.
we will analyze the development of creative and social business in the far north.
Бизнес Югры реагировал на эти
Ну, вообще
вызовы?
буду, потому что
It's a very topical theme, and accepting the pandemic nowadays, when we are in very specific time.
заинтересована в том, чтобы развивать его здесь, так как санкции, они мешают нам в каких-то особенных отраслях. Ну и крупным бизнесам было, например, выгодно сотрудничать с малыми и средними предприятиями.
I think that for big businesses, it's very proficiently to cooperate with small and medium businesses. What's about your region? Do you feel a pressure of sanctions or?
Материалы с других стран. Ну, и вот на данный момент из-за санкционного давления они не могут это сделать, им приходится находить
At the moment, they try to find some alternatives, and they find some ways to cooperate with small business to replace.
Аналитиков утром сказали, что малый и средний бизнес сейчас держится за счет параллельного импорта.
Today it was said that small and medium business is alive for parallel import, and thank you very much. Also, I'd like to add that Khanty-Mansiysk Autonomous Okrug is one of the most active member of the Northern Forum.
Как раз-таки на примере одного региона можно найти какие-то позитивный опыт для того, чтобы
perhaps a positive experience can be made and be used in this initiative. Thank you. I'll give the floor to Akshman Pal, India, University of Iswakharati.
Нет.
Так, пока возникла пауза, тоже для
During the maintenance for brief discussion, I'd like to tell you that the consortium had just opened. Its codex has been developed in Wednesday, and a big agenda is aiming towards India. We've told our Indian colleague that there is a consortium which might lead to different points where we can cooperate. So in February, it is planned to have a very big trip, and I hope that Indian students will support and join us in this consortium.
Ну, тут у нас произошла небольшая заминка. Сейчас очень надеюсь, что быстро разберемся.
There is technical difficulties currently. As you might have noticed that the interests in terms of the Arctic are quite various, and this time we'll talk about quite narrow, quite restricted theme.
My name is Anshuman Pal. I am from India. I studied Russian language in Vishwati University of Santiniketan. So today I'll present the Indian Arctic, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present Indian Arctic in the Northern Forum. So this is my contacts and my IDs. So if you want to take a pictures, so quick. Okay. So today now we consult about the Arctic Council by India. As you all know, the Salvador Treaty in India have a relationship with Arctic Council about 100 years. And this treaty organization gave India many permission about economic and commercial privates with establishment. And India, when in 2013, India became the permanent observer of Arctic Council. There are some Arctic policies of India. As we can see in 2020, 17 March, Indian government released Arctic policy. And India is the only one country apart from China that developing the Arctic research base. And in India, 25 institutions and universities involved in this Arctic research. In 2007, over 100 peers of review paper published in India government. And in 2007, the first scientific expedition of in Arctic, the India have happened. And 2018 in Salvador, Himadri, the Arctic research base India established by India government. And by 2023, we established a satellite by NASA. So we can do the research as long the continues with India and Russia. The main plus of Indian Arctic policy, here we see the science and research topics, and there will be a multiracial science and research methods in the Arctic situations. And participate in Arctic spatial data infrastructure cooperative framework for accessing and contributing data aesthetic spatial infrastructure in Arctic regions, also and India government research methods. Develop bilateral and multilateral projects with Arctic nation and other projects partners under the various Arctic fora. Expand cooperation with international research institutions working in Arctic. This will involve increased participation in multinational projects in scientific policy events. And the other thing I told that the space technology. So when the satellite will be launched by India in 2023, it will measure the Earth changing ecosystem dynamic surfaces and the expand of remote sensing capability up to the Arctic engage with the Arctic nation mutually advantageous. Sharing India data for land and water management. Establish satellite ground station in Arctic optimal exploration of India satellites placed in polar orbits also. And then we can see the climate and the environmental protection. It's a big part of the Arctic policy. Participating in research on ecosystem values, marine protect areas, and traditional known knowledges system at a preserving Arctic biodiversity and microbial diversity. Engage with the emergency preparedness, prevention, and responding working group of the Arctic Council to contribute towards environmental emergencies, research and rescue, natural and man-made disaster and assistance in the Arctic. Promote the use of high environmental standards by Indian enterprises while engaging in scientific and economic activities in the regions. And then we go to the third point, transportation and the connectivity. Transportation and connectivity also, if the disasters coming, it will be good for our world, but it is not balanced for our ecosystem and biodiversity also. So Collaborate in the field of shipbuilding with the partner who have expertise building ice class vessels suitable for polar operation and exchange experience on adaptation sustainable shipping technology in consumers with IMO regulation of guidelines. And then we go to economic and human development. Economic and human development be a research part of Arctic policy in India also. So this is encourage the Indian participant to sustainable forest tourism in Arctic and the lifestyle and the struggle between the daily life livings the Arctics, making a society well developed in Arctics also. And India is the pharmacy of the world, so provide the healthcare services, technology solution in the Arctic like telemedicine, robotics, nanotechnology, and biotechnology. Explore collaboration in traditional system of medicine, including Ayurveda, Sinha, and Unani. These three things are the Indian traditional system of pharmacy. And the governments and international cooperation. There we can see that we can promote the security and stability in the Arctic region according in the international treaties and conventions, and actively participate in international climate change and environmental treaty framework relating to the Arctics, and develop the greater understanding of Arctic related national based and subnational legislation. National capacity building. This thing India are doing a project of the national capacity building 2 days now, and there we can see that they promote research capacities in Indian university in the field of art sciences and biological sciences, geosciences, climate change, and space related programs relevant to Arctic. And as we can see in the missile will a satellite will launch in 2023. The capacity building and is the one of the main project methods for the satellite launch. And expand India train manpower and maritime insurance charting evaluation and the brokerage potential use of Arctic regions also. This is a parts of Arctic. The Himalayas ice and glacier melting down together, we can improve the ecosystem strategy, because we in the Himalayas ice society and is very dangerous. And here in the Russia, the Arctic's technology and scientific improvement are too much better than India. So if we can collaborate in this Himalayas ice region, then we can do a better civilization there. Large quantities of minerals and hydrocarbons resources are found between the Arctics. This is not only for the money, but it will reach our technologies for our future generation also. And these hydrocarbon resources can be rescued from the ground of the earth, and it will be conducted in our research progresses. Then the upcoming shipping routes for better transportation. As we see the glacier melting down, some sea routes are open, and as we find these sea routes, our transportation cost will be reduced, and also the time also be. But it's not a good thing to melting down the glacier. We have to maintain. But in future generation, I think that it will be help us by founding a new transportation way. And last, Indian and Russian partnership growth. As we can see, last few years, Indian-Russian partnership growth is increases day by day in many ways, like bilateral multilateralism and the dealing and the trade and economical and oils also. So in Arctic regions, also the India want to partner. India also partnership with Russia, and India want to launch some projects in starting of 2024, as we know by the government. So we want to seek a partnership through the projects. As I am in, and as I'm an Indian, so I delivered this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, as we are in a all family in our globe. So the global family will be together, and together we can achieve great things for our next generation also, and the future will be good. So, Pasiba Zabhinamani, any question or advice?
Thank you very much for a very interesting presentation. So for your opinion, How you see the cooperation between India and China, or Russia and China also?
As a youth, I can see that there will be a forum like, as I think RIC, Russia, India, and China. It will be great forum for our ecosystem and our environment balancing. And as we in growing global economy index, India is far growing, and also China. And so if our youth can unite, then we can achieve some great things also, and also make some massive success and achievement for our future generation. And this I see the ways you talk.
Thank you very much. So it's your first time in Russia. What's your impression about northern part?
It's a great and fantastic adventures is there. I gain a lot of experience and a lot of friends I gained, and this is I didn't plan that in this year I will be in Russia. I planned for the next year, but unfortunately I'm here, and I'm glad for this opportunity also. And what I say, everything is fantastic, and as we say in Bengali, khub bhalo lagche.
Thank you very much.
У нас остается последний спикер.
We have a last speaker. I've already mentioned her. She talked about our current activity, Danilova Sakhayana. She has just completed her aspirature degree. We are specializing in development of free, stable polymer materials. I'll give the floor to Sakhayana to present the so you would have the overall understanding of the work of our lab. Good day, I'm Danilo Sakhayana. I am representative of the lab, which is a result of cooperation between Vladivostok and Yakutsk. How can I turn this on? I present to you my thesis. The hypothesis is that wollastonite, which was synthesized with a hydrothermal and hydrochemical ways, might positively affect the overall development of the Arctics. The relevancy is connected with the intensive development of different regions of Siberia, Far East, and the Arctics. It requires the sort of material that could be as reliable as the past, much more, which may present itself as a reliable source of efficiency.
До минус 90 градусов примерно.
It can hold hits even in minus 90 degrees Celsius temperature.
Следующие задачи. Объект исследования сферы высокомолекулярной
The object of the research are polymer matrix and the filler.
Из-за чего он является одним из прочных полимерных матриц и морозостойкий. И здесь представлено, то есть синтез волластонита. И здесь примечательно то, что можно тут...
The synthesis of wollastonite consists of such model systems. Two clear reactives are present. There's a tube that surrounds around the reaction of decomposition. We prefer to recycle it. Plus, the third system is the third model system represents the synthesis of the solution that is used in the car. It is being processed during multiple chemical processes. There is a scheme of acquiring such polymer compositional materials. We receive composites right after. And in front of you, there is characteristics of the synthesized elastinide. The admixture significantly affects the overall quality of this of the elastinide. The results of spectroscopy of this material test the endurance of the material. We also research these materials on the molecular structure. The structure changes to certain type. And here you can see tribological features of the elastinide. It increases in 3 or 6 times.
Здесь с наполнителем наблюдается как раз изменение морфологии, наблюдается формирование вторичной структуры. И вторичная
Secondary structure is being formed. What kind of connections are made in during the process of wearing out? Thermodynamics are shown. Some of them increase the different parameters, some decrease. And in conclusion, on the basis of the received results, we have a certain product. The parts for the cars is made for changing the already worn out stock parts. While testing them out, we figured out that it does not wear out. This year, we have made a space for Toyota Vitz, and during this time, even now, we will learn how it will behave itself in negative temperatures. Thank you. It is a perfect example of an opportunity to use the products of the different facilities to create a unique product. I'd like to add that on this, based on this example, we can present that our university has a set of equipment to create practical scientific projects and prove their efficiency, to furthermore integrate them in terms of technology. And if our colleagues are present online, that laboratory is always ready for joint projects. And if, for example, for natural initiatives, we have certain test ranges where we can test out the chemical features of the products. I'd like to give the floor to Yulia Valerina to share their opinion on the projects of the young researchers. Thank you. The projects are quite interesting, and as you've already claimed that they do intend to be very different and specialize in different directions. And the platform of your forum may be the certain engine of such interdisciplinary projects. And as if you said that it was the first forum of young researchers, I have a question. Is it planned to create a certain resolution that might henceforth create a certain chronology, perhaps implement different plans and solutions? Because if you come here next year, you might look at this document and thus create a certain agenda based on such solutions. Because big forums have a quite a formal meaning, and thus such document would be quite important and efficient for such an event. In the beginning of this event, I've said a few words about the Northern Year, because if we come back to this question in terms of history, it holds quite a big significance for the community of young researchers, because before 2017-2018, young researchers mostly were represented as practitioners, and since 2017 and 2018, young researchers have become active participants of planning of the scientific agenda. And on the international level, of course, because I am a participant of such a scientific organization, and this experience must be inherited because scientific committee from China has claimed that they do participate in this initiative. They are a very active participant in terms of stable development in the Arctic. I have made a few theses in here. Also, I said that in 10 years, new Arctic year will happen. It's quite a long period, but for such global programs, the foundation of the program starts today. We need to take precautionary actions to make this program as hereditary as possible. The work in terms of different scientific organizations, and mostly in here, Northern Forum, it allows us to develop organizational contacts and relationships, because as researchers, we interact in the format of people to people, and such moments are quite important in terms of representing our organizations, consortiums, for example, and etc. on the international level, and promoting the solutions such as RCAI. Plus, it is quite important to keep in mind that it holds scientific significance, and young researchers are united and they are intertwined. They look at each other and interact with each other. And thus, during the development of such events, it is important to know that it will multiply. Multiply aspects will be present during this development. I think that the Northern Forum in here, we have already discussed about it on other platforms, that we require the strengthening of international relationships. We have movements, we have Mao, and it's quite cool because strengthening of inter-regional relationships can be discussed and increased in terms of initiativeness and and partnership. I guess that is it. I want to conclude this conversation that there is still an ongoing program of scientific school for young researchers. We've always talked about that we create school for an organization for young researchers, especially. We also include our adult colleagues. We understand, we learn how administratively complicated it is to hold such events and organizations. We hope that the projects will make a proving point that we as young researchers can furthermore develop them. Thank you. I'd like to thank all of the participants of this roundtable and contest. The results of the whole school will be announced in the end. The projects will be included in the results, and we furthermore like to agitate you to work even more. I'd like to express my gratitude that for every participant who showed their eagerness and decidedness in the whole participation. We have waited for 18 guests, but we're currently presenting in this format. We hope that this relationship will be long-term and in the future will be as fruitful as possible. The participants, the range of the experience of our participants ranges from the students of the third course up to very hardened professors, and we hope that the resolutions are going to be made in order to monitor the results of our work. And on such note, we are going to conclude this event. And for the participants, an announcement for the participants of the school, there's going to be a mountain trip, an actual meeting with the climate and nature of Yakutia. We invite you for a joint photography session. Thank you for the participation.